Alright everyone, it is Dokkan time again, and today we will be doing a how-to build for the newly EZA TEQ Kale and Caulifla. So, apologies, I'm testing out a new audio feature here, so if my voice ends up completely dampening the music, that's just part of the settings. So let me know if the music is, is it jarring that it just turns off when I'm talking? Or do you still slightly hear it in the background? I still need to tweak it a little bit. But anyways, so I do like this unit. The problem I have with them is that they're so weak. Literally turn 1. It's like turn 1 and turn 2. They are just ridiculously weak unless they like quad super turn 1. If they quad super turn 1, that'd be the most idealistic kind of thing to happen. This is a unit that is just raw defense, raw damage, and that's it. So your hidden potential matters a lot, like a whole lot. Like dupes matter probably more with this unit than almost any other unit that even comes straight to mind. We are so used to having units that have actual built-in hidden potential to complement the unit as a unit, but honestly, without hidden potential dupes, you are almost stuck to just kind of letting this unit just kind of be a tank almost, but it almost feels like that's too weak at that point. So I really hope you have at least 2 dupes with this character, because otherwise they're going to feel a little potentially lackluster. If you take them in the festival battles, you hit like 50 additionals and they're not critting. We'll discuss that right now anyways. So now, regardless of my disappointment points with the unit, I still like the unit a lot. I think they're going to be really good for festival battle specifically. But in other areas of the game, it's going to be kind of like you could turn 1 just get wiped just because they don't stack enough. But let's just kind of go into it. We'll get down to the breakdown of the whole unit, including the Kale and Caulifla part and then the Kefla transformation. Then after that, we'll go into the defense numbers. We'll go into build suggestion. Then we'll go into the roll tips. I got a couple tweaks here and there to go in between each one of those. So anyways, let's just get into it. So moving on down here, for as far as their like 200% options go, they actually have quite a few decent-esque options as far as 220s and 200s go. Obviously, they're going to be on the 200% 220s for both Universe 6 hit, and then of course the Kaioken Goku. I do believe that they could also be, yeah, I think they are actually on even Cell's team. Cell is honestly getting a lot of random stonks. I don't even understand how that keeps happening. But other teams, some of these teams I'm not okay with. Some are better, some are worse. They are actually not 220 on the Vegito Tech unit team. They are on Gogeta's though. They are on the Gogeta. And they are, of course, on Super Saiyan 2 Full Power Gohan's lead, and then the new LR Universe 6 Kale and Caulifla Carnival unit. And then, oh yeah, STR Evolution Blue Vegeta does exist, but nobody cares about him. And then AGL Jiren, of course. So, decent options. I would say, you know, we'll just keep going. We'll just keep going. I'm not really sure if I'd feel comfortable in certain places with this unit being on other teams, but let's just kind of look into the kit. So as far as the leader skill goes, looks like their Bond of Friendship and Rapid Growth category key +3 and HP attack and defense of 170%. Not terrible, but as I've said it many times, we kind of want to avoid 170s and we kind of want to aim towards more 200% options and then 220s optimally. It's not like you can't do anything with a 170, but I would say it's less viable to be running 170s right now. But considering they're a crazy, greatly raising attack and defense stacking unit, that could still be a viable run-in for festival battles. If you have 2 of these, oh boy. Just really depends on who you can throw onto the team. Bond of Friendship and Rapid Growth are kind of almost niche categories. Rapid Growth probably a little bit better, but Bond of Friendship could be hit or miss. But anyways, let's get into their passive skill. So they're going to feel a little bit bare bones. There's not too much here, but there's not too little either. So basic effects are as follows. Attack and defense of 200%. Launches an additional attack that has a 50% chance to become a super. They have also a 50% chance to dodge. and for 4 turns from the character's entry turn, they get an extra 20% chance to dodge. So for only the first 2 appearances, will they have a 70% chance to dodge. Now, that's not a bad thing, because the developers are assuming after that 4 turns that you're probably going to want to just transform the unit. And in a normal fight like red zones and blue zones, I would say this is the case. If you get past 4 turns and you're still stacking with Kale and Caulifla, it's probably okay and safe up to like maybe turn 6 or 7. And then after that point, you're probably getting into an area of where, like, as long as you've kept the stacks up, they'll defensively probably be fine, but they might not be doing as much damage. But anyways, we'll get more into that once we get to the Kefla part. So for every attack performed, attack and defense plus 40% up to 160. So that means you got to get 4, 8, 12, and then 16. So 4 attacks. Once you get 4 super attacks, you are fully built up here. So the first 4 super attacks are going to feel very much different from the stacking afterwards, because this is like a dramatic leap. Before supering, you could get you just one hit KO, done, game over. Their stats are terribly low up until they literally do their first couple super attacks. So they are very dangerous throwing into slot 1 if they do not have at least 4 stacks going on. If they have not supered 4 times, I would not put them in slot 1. They are not safe. They are not safe. When there's another Universal Survival Saga category ally in the same turn, or an enemy, attack plus 60% when attacking, and launches a free super attack. So the good news here is that Universal Survival Saga is a kind of wildly good category in general. You pretty much always can run a Universal Survival Saga unit. I mean, Intelligence, Vegeta, Blue Evolution exists. So, and then TEQ UI, AGL UI. You can't really go wrong with this. And as far as enemies go, this is pretty much like the main list of like difficult fights right here is Universal Survival Saga. So this is prime area of fighting for this unit in the current shift of the game's meta right now, I feel. Does it mean that she'll be terrible in older areas? No, because you can just bring along a Universal Survival Saga unit. So, but anyways, moving on. Every time the character performs 3 or more attacks in battle, chance of evading enemies' attack plus 20% within the character's next attacking turn. So, if you're able to keep track of how many attacks you've done in a turn, you know, don't not look at the screen when they're attacking, basically, and count how many times they've attacked, then you could potentially have an extra 20% dodge chance come the next turn, not the current, the next turn. What this means is that even after the 4 turns have passed, you'll still have 70% so long as they performed 3 attacks in total in between the last time this procced. What this also does mean is that for those first 4 turns, you could potentially be getting up to a 90% chance to dodge, which is pretty crazy. 90% chances is woo boy. But this is only for the first 4 turns. Very nice though. I think this is okay. They're basically guaranteed to do 3 attacks because you gotta remember, this says perform 3 or more attacks in battle. It's not super attacks. So that means normals will count for this, and they have that in their kit, like right off the bat. That's literally just right here in their kit. They have their initial super. They have this 50% chance. So it'll always go off, even if it's just a normal, that still counts. And then as long as you have a Universal Survival Saga ally or enemy, you're going to get a 3rd. So, you know, bar to the point of you killing the enemy before you hit that 3rd attack, you pretty much, you get that guaranteed every single turn. So long as you keep them actually, you know, on rotation and getting those 3 attacks. So, they do have, of course, their active skill, which is to fuse into Kefla. This can be performed starting from the 6th turn from the start of battle. I would highly suggest you probably stack for 1 extra turn after this with them. Otherwise, you might not see that crazy of damage or that crazy of defense. If you didn't notice when we were going through this, there's no guard, there's no damage reduction, there's just pure dodge, pure additional, and that's it. There's no crit. There's just additionals and a very good chance to dodge, but no raw defense. Ironic, there's no raw defense shielding, I guess is a way you could put it. So normally we're used to having like 30% damage reduction or a little bit of guard here and there, but you don't get that. That's not in this unit's kit, and you don't have any crit either. I feel like this is like one of the this is probably one of the few units in the past, I don't know, how many months? I don't know in how many months that we have gotten a unit that didn't have built-in crit. It's very fascinating, actually, to see a unit that doesn't have built-in crit in the year of 2025 on Dokkan. But anyways, moving on to their link skills: Saiyan Lineage, Saiyan Warrior Race, Battlefield Diva, Warriors of Universe 6, Tournament Power, Prepare for Battle, and Fierce Battle. I'm not a fan of all of these links in particularly being together, because Warriors of Universe 6 obviously is literally just one category of character. So although you are going to have this going off so long as you have them on a Universe 6 team, or maybe next to Hit at the very least. But Tournament of Power, you don't get this if you have a Hit. So Hit doesn't activate this. You want Battlefield Diva to go out for the extra dodge chance, and then you just have these standard Prepared for Battle, Saiyan Lineage, Saiyan Warrior Race, and then Fierce Battle. They're on a number of decent categories, but the problem I have with this unit is the same as I have with every Universe 6 unit, except for Hit, is that they kind of need a Universe 6 partner. And although Universe 6, at the very literal given moment of time of this recording, is decent, I wouldn't say that Universe 6 is a good team. I'd say it's a very whale team that you could potentially have. But otherwise, no, I don't think that you have amazing options for a Universe 6 team in total. I think you can make a mixture of a Universe 6 team and be okay. But, you know, aside from having fun with full Universe 6 new LRs, you know, you're really going to have to kind of pick a partner here. This is probably technically the best partner you can run with this unit. Slot 1, auto dodge, and then just have them build up in slot 2 until you can just freely float Caulifla off, and then put Kale and Caulifla into slot 1 and just keep building up for the rest of the time. Otherwise, it's just a lot of dodge or die. It's just a lot of dodge or die units as far as partners go. But anyways, this is a stacking unit. They don't necessarily need to lean on their partners in like Festival of Battle. They can just kind of build up and be fine later on. But okay, well, finally, let's get the Super Saiyan 2 Kefla. So once you transform into Kefla, she still greatly stacks attack. So that is something to keep in mind, is that they're still greatly stacking attack, but they're no longer stacking defense. So you're only going to get greatly raised defense for the turn. Now, once we get to the defense numbers, you'll understand it, but this means that they actually have less defense. It's a little weird, but they're going to have less defense as soon as they transform. It's going to be weird. They might feel like suspiciously weaker once they transform. They recover 60% HP once they transform. Attack and defense at 200%. They launch 2 additional super attacks guaranteed, so guaranteed triple super from this. 70% chance to dodge, randomly changing key spheres, attack key spheres. When attacking, attack plus 200%, and receiving an attack, defense plus 200%. This is the thing here, is like when receiving an attack, which is just going to happen all the time. This is a nice little buff. It does feel very good to see the numbers go up on that one. So your start of turn defense will not look as good as if you were as Kale and Caulifla, because as you're in Kale and Caulifla, everything's just there. Your start of turn defense is your defense, literally, until you super, and then you get an extra stack and it goes up a little bit more. But with Kefla, your start of turn defense is not just your defense. This is added onto your defense once you receive an attack. That's what I was saying earlier. If you collect 6 or more key spheres obtained, tournament participant category allies get an attack plus 30%, and then another additional 30% for characters who also belong to Universe 6. So I don't like this. I think it's I'm nitpicking at this point, but you know, tournament participants for 30% attack, Universe 6 for 30% defense. Why couldn't they just say tournament participants and Universe 6 allies get both attack and defense of 30%? Why couldn't you just cut out all of this random text crap and just do that? Why did you have to separate it? There was no reason to do that. I don't feel like there was any reason to do that. Very weird choice, but basically 30% support to Universe 6 allies, and 30% attack support for tournament participants. So, her key links do change, or her links in general change. So she now has Super Saiyan, Battle Diva, Fused Fighter, Power Bestowed by God, Warrior of Universe 6, and Tournament of Power. So we lost a couple links here, but Power Bestowed by God and then Super Saiyan are the ones that we got. You lose defensive links for damage links. And obviously categories don't change. The partners will definitely change here. Obviously, STR Kefla is going to be the best link partner, though she's purely dodge or die at this point. And then the next best partners are going to be the LR, Kale, and Caulifla units, Physical, and AGL. And then after that, it's literally themselves or some of these random other Kale and Cauliflas. We're back once again to the TEQ Caulifla as a quote-unquote partner. You just don't have Super Saiyan. And then we start getting into Vegito options. So, I do think that eventually, you know, once Universe 6 just drops off the board, I think a lot of people could still use this unit for long-standing events, and you could potentially see this unit on Power Beyond Super Saiyan allied teams, Pure Saiyans, and Final Trump Card, Accelerated Battle. Still a lot of good categories to be throwing her onto. Now, in the role tips, I didn't say it, but once again, Super Saiyan 3/4 Goku, 70-80% support with that 10% damage reduction. Oh wait, I did put it in the role tips. My bad. So there's always that because they are Power Beyond Super Saiyan. At least once they get to this point, I'm not sure. Never mind. It should be at all times. It should be at all times. Never mind. Anyways. So we're done with the kits finally after freaking 17 minutes of recording, which is insane to me. So let's just kind of go move into the defense numbers, compliments of Halvard. All right, so we're here over on Twitter. And thank you, dude. So this is going to be a little bit different for him. He says, note, the double active skill section are both physical Caulifla plus Kale. So let's just go take a look real quick. So all the way at the top here, we have without support, start a turn defense 270k, and then post super 568, double super 970, and then triple super 1.5 million. So the thing here is that you have absurdly low defense, and I do mean absurdly low defense before you get fully stacked up and everything. You just have absolutely nothing. Now, as long as you have a Universe 6 ally, you can get that potential quad super. It's unlikely to happen, but you do have that potential quad super. As soon as you hit that potential quad super, or you just get 4 super attacks in total, you will be at a start of turn defense of 2.1 million. Now, that's pretty good. That is very good. The problem I have is that it's very unlikely you'll get quad super. It's more than likely that you'll probably get double. You'll only get double and you'll just get normals. But if you're lucky, you'll probably get a triple. If you're stupid lucky, you'll get a quad. Stupid lucky to get that quad. But full buildup, you go on to your 5th super attack, you're at 2.4. 6th super, you're at 2.8. 7th super, you're at 3 million defense. And after 8 super attacks, you're at 3.5 million defense. Once again, this is just raw defense numbers, and that's what they planned. But if you also have the double active skill on the Universe 6 team for the physical LR, Kale, and Caulifla, oh my god, their defense just skyrockets absurdly. Like, holy testicle Tuesdays. That is a lot. They literally jump up by over 1 million. 1.2 million defense increase just from both of the actives going off. That is crazy. So mind you, there is a big gap in defense numbers based on the team that you're running, based on the dupes, because you know, if you take away 2 dupes out of this, you're probably chucking out like 2 to 300k defense. So instead of 5 million here on the post super, that would probably be closer to a 4.6, more than likely on average. So just keep that in mind. Keep in mind of your dupes lowering a lot of these defense numbers. Not that it'll matter too much as long as you have a substantial amount of extra dupes. But yeah. All right. So moving on to Kefla's. So Kefla is a little bit different. As I said, your defense is going to look a little bit weaker once you transform, but that's only until they actually receive an attack. So with 6 key spheres obtained, you can get up to a defense of 1.5 million defense post a super. But once you receive a single attack, all of a sudden the defense jumps up to 4.7, and that's where all their defense went. So, and that's with 8 stacks, by the way. So, like I said, Kefla's defense is much lower once he transforms, but it's when she receives an attack that it jumps up to that 200% marker. So, look at it this way. If you look at the start of turn defense of Kale and Caulifla, and you are happy with that defense number, then you can transform, because that's the defense basically that that Kefla will have, basically, if not higher. If not higher, with double active skill post receiving an attack, 6 million. That's with 8 super attacks. So her defense goes up by 2 million technically once she transforms. It's just, it doesn't look like it when you receive it if you look at the start of turn defense. So just keep in mind that it looks a little misleading, but she has plenty of defense. Plenty of defense. It's just raw defense. This is just crazy raw defense. But just keep in mind, this is with a double Universe 6 LR physical Kale and Caulifla. So if you're not rocking them on the Universe 6 LR Kale and Caulifla team, then you need to be aware of where your defense is at. So anyways, thank you, Halvard, for those defense numbers. We are going to hop into the build section of this video once I actually click buttons here. Okay. So on the right side of the screen, you will see that I have the 55% numbers up here. Pointer, here's the pointer, top right hand of the screen. You see there's no dupes up there. So because they are a tech unit, they start off with a level 5 crit. I would highly suggest that you just give them more crit. This unit has the potential to have absurdly stupid amount of damage. They have no built-in crit, and you're going to feel that they don't have built-in crit. It's going to be really annoying. It's going to be annoying if you get a triple quad super and you don't crit, and you do like no damage because all of the major bosses in the game have, what, 60% damage reduction, and they themselves have extra. It's just, you really do need crit. You do. Otherwise, they're just a tank. So just keep that in mind. If you have this unit at 55%, they might just be a tank that could potentially do a little bit of damage way down the line. I would view this unit straight up as a tank and not doing damage unless you have 2 dupes, because you're just praying to RNGesus to get those crits off at that point. So yeah, 55%, just give them a level 5 crit silver and a level 2 bronze crit. Now for the 1 dupe build, same thing. I highly suggest you just give them more crit. With 1 dupe, you can get an extra level 9 increased into there. So on top of the level 5 they already start off with naturally, that's a level 14. If you still keep the silver crit and the bronze crit, then you can add 7 to that and get it all the way from 14 to 21. Now 21, a level 21 is equivalent to 42% chance to crit. That's a pretty good chance to crit. I'm not going to lie. That's pretty decent. I would prefer 50, but 21's pretty good too. I like number 21 too. You'll have 1 remaining node left, and I would suggest obviously just putting that into additional. There is no reason to give this unit dodge, as they have raw defense that will just tank everything, so long as you are managing them properly to stack up appropriately. Now, the people that want to put in dodge, I don't know why you want to put in dodge. They got 70% chance to dodge. Just roll with it, man. Just roll with it. They got raw defense. You want them to stack. I don't know why you want dodge. I can't. I'm sorry. You're entitled to your own build. This is it's your unit that you want to build. Go for it. You can ignore my suggestions. That's fine. I just can't understand why you would give this unit dodge at all. I just can't. I really can't. It doesn't help them as a unit. It contradicts how the unit should be used, in my personal opinion. But anyways, let's move on to the next slide here. So I have three different builds for 2 dupes and up. I have 3 builds for 2 dupes and up. So this is with all, it shows all nodes right there, but it's for 2 dupes. Because 2 dupes unlocks the bottom right and top left. So this is my first suggestion, and it's not my personal favorite suggestion, but it is a potential thing you could do if you're not worried about the damage. If you're not worried about the damage and you just want to make sure they're as tanky as possible, please do just go ahead and go into additional. That's perfectly fine. Just make sure you're putting the rest of the hidden potential nodes into crit. So as a tech unit, they can have up to level 15 additional naturally without equipment. If you go ahead and put in a bronze additional and a silver additional, you can get that up to a level 22. That is a 44% chance to additional attack, and then you have a 50/50 chance for it to be a super. I would highly advise just going ahead and putting in the gold equip as a crit, because you still want to try and get some damage out of this unit, but this is more of a build closer to relying on the additionals going off, and then kind of hoping, yeah, we'll get some extra damage on the side. It would be nice, but it's not guaranteed, and that's fine. A level 11 is what you'll be at naturally with all the extra points here. And then with that one level 5 gold equip, you can get up to a 16. 16% chance, or a level 16 crit is not 16%. It's a what? 32% chance? 32% isn't terrible. It's not great, but it is, you know, 1 in 3 attacks you'll probably crit. 1 in 3, which ironically, you're going to do every single turn. So, let's move on to the next build. This is the build I personally will probably be aiming towards, as it really depends on how she'll end up performing, but this is where I'm kind of leaning into. So my personal, what I'll probably be aiming towards is going to be more crit, because they already have plenty of additionals going in. They already have a dodge built in, and I know that this unit is going to stack up excessively. I know I'm going to try this in festival battles, and I know I'm going to end up with a large attack number, and I'm going to want them to kill. So instead of going for a level 20 crit, I take away 1 node and I put it down into the additional, so I can make sure I can get a healthy amount of additional just in case. And then put all the rest of the nodes into additional. So with a level 9 and then 1, either the silver or the gold, you can choose whichever you got available to put in a level 5 additional, and that'll put their level 9 to a level 14. That's a 28% chance to additional. That's not bad. Could be better. Not bad though. And then putting in a level 5 and a level 2 crit into the level 17 will put you up to 24. At 24, you're at a 48% chance to crit. That's almost 50% chance. It's like borderline almost. I'm kind of happy with that. I still prefer it to be higher, but you know, 48% is still pretty good. It's still almost 50%. But if it wasn't for the fact that I really feel like I need that additional, I would actually just keep going up to crit. I really would if I didn't feel like I needed it. But to those that really just want to see some raw damage numbers in festival battle, I would probably suggest you push it even further beyond and you just say screw it and you replace the silver equip and plop that thing into crit. Just give all critical equipment orbs and all but 1 node be put into crit, which would mean level 17 all the way up to a 29. A 29% chance would be a 58% chance to crit. I think that's a very good chance that you'll crit at least every other attack, if not very reliably. Usually for my build videos, I always suggest if a unit has 50% crit chance, I don't usually give them any crit. So this would give you that 50% crit, and I feel like they're already doing everything else. So this is a very raw unit, really, it is. But you really do need to choose. Do you want them to do damage? You need to give them crit. You need to give them crit. But if you just want them to stack and tank, just give them additional. Or a mixture of the two. Let me know how you decide. Now, 30 minutes in, that's crazy. Long time for these transformation units. Roll tips. So you'll know normally at the top here where you see the 6-star Dragonball, normally I choose to put their attacker, their defender, their support. Well, the thing is, this unit's kind of all of the above. This is a unit that has access to being stupidly tanky and stupid good damage. And once you transform them into Kefla, they start getting support. Now, that's pretty good. So I don't really feel this unit has per se a weakness other than the literal very first few turns. So long as you're keeping stacks up, this unit cannot die almost. Not even kidding. Because they can just build up such raw amount of defense, it's almost impossible for them to be the ones that kill the run, aside from the first couple turns. If you don't get to that 4 super attacks as soon as possible, it could just end the runs. But overall, this is a unit that can be a damage dealer, a defender, and kind of a support unit because they change key spheres and they're supporting. So I do feel like they're kind of a jack of all trades. I don't have an emblem for a jack of all trades, so I just threw in a 6-star Dragonball because it's Universe 6 character. So now, as far as the leaders go, as I said before during the breakdown, you got Jiren, you got STR Blue, Vegeta, and then you got Kaioken Goku. Those are options, but I don't think that that's where her home is at. I think her home is 100% going to be on, obviously, the Universe 6 physical Kale and Caulifla team, the full power Super Saiyan 2 Gohan team, the AGL Gogeta 220 team, or on Golden Week Hits team. It's one of these 4. I feel like they'll be the most at home. They'll run really reliably, have decent partners, lots of support, and especially I want to try out the Gogeta active with them. Oh my goodness. That Gogeta active could go hard. It really could. I'm wondering if the Gogeta active will actually do more for them, at least in a 1-turn scenario, than a double active here with the Kale and Caulifla. Now, as far as partners go, I would definitely suggest, obviously, the leader, LR, physical, Kale and Caulifla unit, and then STR Kefla, dodge or die, by the way, and then, of course, the 70%, the really large amount of support, damage reduction, Super Saiyan 3 and 4 Goku, and then off-turn rotational support, too. Lots of support from this unit. Almost makes up for not having any links with them. Now, as far as like festival battles, I think this unit is literally primed and ready for festival battles, and that's literally what they're just made for. So if you're not taking this unit in the festival battles, I don't think you'll ever see its best capabilities here and how crazy it could be. Now, because it's festival battles and there's tons of pure Saiyans and Universe 6 enemies or Universal Survival Saga enemies, I think the TEQ Caulifla could definitely be just chucked into there just for an auto dodge unit and kind of a decent partner to be rocking with that's safe. And then there is the STR Kale that does stack and can, as long as she's paired with a Universe 6 unit, she can stack up quite a bit. It just, as you know, as long as the enemy doesn't die. So it could be a little bit of a betting game with her, but I do feel like the TEQ Caulifla could definitely be in there. Now, as far as best slot position goes, for the first 2 turns, you really need to put this unit in slot 2. They will not survive in slot 1. They will not. If you get a turn 1 super in some of these, like in the Vegeta story red zone or the Goku story red zone, like stage 9s with the Jiren fights, you could get 1 turn shot. You could get 1 hit KO'd in the first 2 turns, because if you're not fully built up, you could just straight up die. Their defense is so low in the first couple turns until they built up. You have to be very wary of their positioning. They are not to go into slot 1 until they are built up, at least from their passive. So bare minimum of 4 super attacks, then they can go into slot 1 and then just start stacking like crazy every single turn and appearance. Otherwise, they can kind of just go wherever you so please. But yeah, just keep that in mind when you're using this unit. So I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. So that is my build suggestions, role tips, and just general information for Kale and Caulifla. Do let me know what teams you decide to run this unit on. What's the hidden potential you're going to be rocking? How do you feel about the unit? Just let me know down in the comments below. And if you don't agree with my build suggestions, you don't need to agree with them. To each their own. It's just a suggestion. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Have a good day and a good night.